Shalom, family. Glory be to God and blessed be the Lamb. Viola Fletcher. Miss Viola Fletcher passed away on November 25th of this year. A few days back. November 24th, 2025. Also known as Mother Fletcher. At the time of her death, she was one of the oldest known survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre. Miss Fletcher must have been somewhere along the age of 11 years old, 10 years old, when her world went sideways and became a horror show. So before I go any further, Miss Fletcher, hats off, heads bowed. Miss Fletcher was not only the last oldest known survivor. Miss Fletcher was also a party in a legal case, which started out as them after case after case after case across the United States, with them always being able to say there are no known survivors. Think about that mindset. Put a pin in that one. We're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to it. But we're going to keep this about Miss Fletcher also, who passed away at 111 years old after witnessing what had to be one of the most horrific acts of violence a child could ever witness. I can see the horror show through her eyes, but I can see the horror show through the eyes of the perpetrators, a mob, a mob. This is not what I would call it, but this is what Wikipedia calls it, a mob. Okay? This is just the truth, a mob. So what we would have is her. Tulsa was also known as Black Wall Street, so this would be the beginnings of your working class and your middle class, who knew and understood how money works within the society. They were doing better than the surrounding areas as a group. But that's not what this is about. Not actually. At the end of the day, this is about land ownership and property ownership. Every generation, they go out of their way to make sure that no land or no property is able to be passed on to the next generation. In this way, every generation of African Americans, Black, have to start over as if they just got here with no help at all. Okay? That's what it's like. Every generation has to start over because this country, by violence and by law and policy that they themselves write, make sure that there is this transfer of land ownership from one hand to the next. And Wikipedia referred to the Tulsa Race Massacre as ethnic cleansing. Why? Why? Because it was the forced removal of one race and the replacement of that race by another race. Ethnic cleansing. You get it now, right? You gonna get it now. But this is a thing. This is a phenomenon that's going on all over the world, all over the world, with the likely suspects refilling themselves, spreading themselves. At any rate, at any rate, Miss Fletcher deserves our respect. Miss Miss Fletcher stayed in the fight to the very end. When they tried to say that there are no known survivors, Miss Fletcher didn't shy away from her position. She did not inherit the fear that so many other black people have. We just automatically know to not offend them. Well, Miss Fletcher showed up in court and said, "Here I am," taking away that argument that they had used time after time after time after time. Keep that mindset in mind now, okay? Don't forget, and I said that earlier. Keep that mindset in mind, because it actually permeates American society. I mean, this country's society. The Tulsa Race Massacre is but a microcosm of America. It's just a microcosm. It is a miniature picture that is America. Period. Up to this day. To this day. They call it different names, have different laws, have different policies. They don't use violence anymore. But as per generation, the transfer is assured one way or the other, because the game is to never let you pass property on to your children. And even when you try, your own children will turn right around, because they've been westernized and they're lovers of money. They will sell the land as if God or them is making any new land anywhere. You can search the world over, and the one thing that you will not find is new land. There's no new land. It is of a limited supply. However, that was Miss Fletcher saying, "No, here I am," forcing the courts, forcing the judge, and forcing the system like a serpent eating its own snake eating its own tail to eat their own words. And what was her next argument? This is what things get where they ought to be. Thank you very much. This is where we want them. They openly said that it would be wrong to give the property back or damages, because there was already families on it, already businesses on it. What were they supposed to do? Pack up and move? Well, yes. They let somebody sell them stolen property. What the fuck you mean? Yes, you pack up and move. Get out. That's your problem. That's your issue. Which brings me back to what I was saying. Mindset. Mindset. Okay? Mindset. Now, let me take you back to when the former slaves were being set free, they were under the notion and the idea that they would be given 40 acres and a mule. In reality, As soon as the Union soldiers left the South rose again, this time through law, judges, authorities, writing rules and regulations, and making new law, all in an effort to maintain a racial caste system that never wanted in the first place, a racially egalitarian and equal society. From the first place, they never wanted it. So everything that we see now has been forced upon them. All of it. Forced upon them. I want you to think about that. Forced upon them. So what was the reality of not getting the 40 acres and the mule? We're going to get back to Miss Fletcher, because Miss Fletcher witnessed a horror show. I mean, bullets and bombs. I mean, you boys are just outrageous. Man, listen. Oh, ever since the day that you found gunpowder, the world has been screwed. Ever since you stumbled across gunpowder, the world has been screwed. But anyway, and instead of 40 acres and a mule, a drunk-ass general, alcoholic with proclivities, had decided, no, we're not going to give those people anything. Not one thing. We shall give them freedom. And they told them to get off their plantations. This is the reality, with no land and nowhere to go. So what did it look like? Let me paint a picture for you. Here's what it looked like. Standing on the side of the road, on both sides of it, for miles, just standing there like sheep with no shepherd, with no direction, just standing there. I want you to see this in your minds a second. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gloriously freed slaves just standing on the sides of the road, just standing there, loitering. They were all loitering. Today they would they did round them up, but at any rate, let that sink in. Just standing there. And guess what happened next? Slavery again. This time it would call itself sharecropping. Sharecropping. So they had a survivor. They knew who the victims were. They knew who the perpetrators were. They had the evidence, and the law stacked up. Damages applied. Reversals applied. And there was the drunk general. Again, here is the drunk general once again stating, we don't care what the law says. We don't care what the jury said. We don't even give a damn what the rest of society say. I am a member of this subset of society. I am a member of the dominant wing of this subset, meaning I am a white male, and I say this is how it's going to go. Would I be out of line in making such a statement? Drunk generals everywhere, aren't they? Drunk generals everywhere. Where do we see this again? When they found the lady, when they found the lady who had took part in the murder of civil rights workers back in the 60s, they found her ass in a nursing home. Yeah, with a warrant, an open warrant. The family members of the victims, when went back into the files, and guess what they found? A open warrant all them years later, and they wanted it served. And guess what the system said? I don't want to serve that warrant. Why? Because she is the other wing of the damn bird. Are you getting it? She's the other wing, okay? And they found her, not the police. Her family's the family of the victim's investigators found her ass. And a nurse found just chilling, and they went to banging on the door. That's when the police came. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? Drunk general after drunk general after they drunk off of something. They have to be drunk off of something. Did not I tell you that there is no law or right that would ever apply to you in this country, if not the world, that cannot be abridged by others with with zero repercussions. Zero repercussions. This is my point. Thereby leading me to make statements as you have no rights and there is no law. You have no rights. You have no rights and there is no law. And as I speak, every manner that you can think of across America in which they can move property from black hands and to non-black hands is on full display to this day. In New York, hundreds of deed thefts. Deed thefts. And where is the state of New York? Where's the attorney? The city attorney. But guess what? Guess what? The police claim that we don't know nothing about the deed thefts. They filed the eviction and they had the deed, and no, it sounds like a cover to me. How many times have this happened? Hundreds. And just so happen, all of them black. Just so happens. Taxes are paid up. No, they're down there out and out stealing black property. And the state and the city attorneys or the state council is not doing anything. So how much property has been stolen? Again, though, it's ethnic cleansing. This is what Miss Fletcher stood in the trenches for, fought for. And she co-authored a book with her son named Don't Let My Story Be Buried. Miss Fletcher, I can assure you, it will not be buried. It will not be buried. Now, what did Miss Fletcher see that day? What did she see that day at 11? Wow. Wow. She's seen a lot of blood, smoke, bombs going off, body parts being blown away, people dropping dead by bullet wounds all around her, flames everywhere. Goodness gracious. Running for her life. Families, friends, neighbors being butchered, buildings being blown apart with the people in them, running for her very life in total fear. 100% fear. I can only imagine as a child, but that's all I can do is only imagine. I could never possibly truly understand such an experience. It's one of those things that you just have to live through. And no matter how many times I try to put myself there emotionally, I can't do it. Oh, I can put myself there behind her eyes and see what she's seeing. That's easy enough. That is easy enough. It's easy enough to put yourself put myself behind the eyes of the perpetrator and see what they're seeing as they're doing it. Wow. All of this because, oh, and they had no real reason outside of we just don't like your asses. And every time we pass by here, y'all have another horse, and then another building, and then three more horses, and then there's another building, and this one has on a suit. Who the fuck do you think you are? We'll be right back and burn all your shit down and steal everything. We should burn down the businesses, burn down the bank, burn down all of the municipal buildings, burn down the schools, burn down your home. And if we can catch you, murder you. Wow. As it was then, it is now. And it is why people like Miss this Miss Fletcher are so honored and venerable because they're worthy. She made the snake eat their own tail. Once again, she exposed another drunk ass general. Okay? I mean, and this happens frequently to this day. To this day, there was just a case a couple of weeks ago where a jury found one of them guilty. And there was a drunk general again. He disagreed. One lone man coded up from the subset of the population in which they are considered a dominant, not only in their own hearts and minds, but in the hearts and minds of most of the population, except me. I see nothing dominant above me. I see no man nor beast, not the kraken or the leviathan above me. There's only God above me. Be that as it may, that's not what I want to talk about. Now, let's get behind the eyes of the perpetrator, filled with rage. Rage, pure, unadulterated, hate driven. I mean, rage. I mean, were you drinking that day? I mean, it's the type of rage that, I could never get too sober. I would have to be under the influence of something, man. I mean, they just go to talking to each other. First, they're talking about you. Next thing you know, they're looking at you, coming where you are, no doubt. Coming where you are. You people are wickedly crazy. Comically, wickedly crazy. Especially built to deny what's right before you. I mean, in real time, even. In real time. It must be nice. I mean, ignorance truly is bliss. I mean, it is bliss, and you live in ignorance, and you can't even call it ignorance because you see it with your own eyes. It's just your brain, and I guess it processes the information after it comes through several different types of filters, and it looks differently on the other end. This is how you don't see yourself as the monsters that you are. And you can still smile, still hold your head up high, still make business deals, still make investments, still have wives and children. What the hell? I see why you feel the way you do, but you do understand that your entire power structure is a process of your own loins. Please understand that your entire social structure and order is a product and a process of your loins. You get it? Of your loins. Man, I bet even the angels was like, whoa, That's the one. That's him. That's him, all right. That's him. You and you believe in your loins, apparently, in the dominance of your loins. Oh, goodness gracious, man. But it's not your fault because there are many out here in the population that also believe in the productivity and the process of your loins, up to and including your ability to ethnically cleanse overall and do whatever the living hell you want to upon the landscape until somebody stops you. Until someone stops you. So I'm going to stop right here. Miss Fletcher, once again, your story will not be buried. No, it will be etched forever in their memory banks, in the memory banks of their children, if not their children's children. We're going to see to it. And you people, both those of the dominant society and dominant subset of the society, and the rest of your supporters, you could understand something. Time's up. Time's up. It is over. It is done. With that, hats off, heads bowed to Miss Fletcher, a lady who fought pain, suffering, misery, and even in her hundreds was willing to fight arthritis, goodness gracious, and all kinds of body aches, and still get up and go and and lay eyeballs on the perpetrators. Look at them eyeball to eyeball and say, "You lie." Here I am. Hats off, heads down. Miss Fletcher. To you. Source 7. I am one.